What's up guys, Roger here, back again. A lot to cover, a lot going on in the news this week, so buckle up. So one of the first things we want to talk about is the Fed meeting. So we have a Fed meeting tomorrow. They're planning on raising interest rates another 0.25%. The market is predicting that there's a 99% chance that they raise interest rates. So everyone is expecting another 0.25% increase. Again, when it comes to these Fed meetings, it's not really just that announcement. It's their verbiage, it's their hawkishness, it's their dovishness on what they're going to do moving forward. So are they going to stick to the plan and kind of hammer down, we're going to keep rates high? That's kind of what you want to look for with these Fed meetings, because everyone knows pretty much what to expect. What they're looking for is how Jerome Powell is going to talk about rates moving forward. I mean, a lot of people are saying this is going to be the last rate hike and then it should cool off after this. So we'll see. My suggestion is if you have a mortgage in process, just lock it in today. Don't mess around, because we already had one negative adjustment to mortgage rates today. So you don't want to be dealing with another one, especially if you have a 30-day escrow or shorter. So that's kind of the big news that's going to happen tomorrow. The other big piece of news happening is student loans. So if you have a student loan, pay attention, because there's a lot going on. So we know the Supreme Court denied the student loan forgiveness. The Biden administration is still pushing to get some kind of student debt relief. So this article that I'm going to show you came out, and they are talking about. So the Biden administration announces that over 800,000 borrowers will have their student debt erased, adding up to $39 billion. So when you read this headline, it's very exciting if you have a student loan. However, once you dig deeper, the story is much different. This is not for anyone who got a student loan over the last 5 or even 10 years. So this student loan forgiveness is for people who've had an income-driven repayment for the last 20 to 25 years and have been making payments on time. So apparently, if you're on an income-driven repayment plan for 20 to 25 years, and then you still have a balance on your student loans, that is what's going to be forgiven. Not anyone who's like in their 20s or even 30s and has just been deferring their payments for the last 5 years. This does not apply to you. This is for people who've had student loans for 20 to 25 years. So if you've made your payments on time through an income-driven repayment plan, you might have your student loans forgiven. So good news there. I think that's pretty fair. I still think student tuition is way too expensive, and that's why we're in this position in the first place. Tuition's spiked up so high. Basically, these colleges are taking advantage of the government just giving everyone money. Colleges are benefiting, and the students are stuck with this debt for the next 30 years. Anyway, whole different story. But the other topic when it comes to student loans that we need to address is payments are going to resume starting in, I believe, in October. So if you have been on deferment, not making payments, this is a big deal. You know, you're going to have to start making payments on your student loans, and that's going to affect your ability to get a mortgage. And even if you have a mortgage or you bought a house in the last 1 year, 1.5 years, and you have a high interest rate, this might affect your ability to refinance once rates come down. So first, let's talk about people who are going to buy. You know, if you're going to buy a house and you have these payments kick in, it could affect your ability to get a mortgage, or it might reduce the amount that you qualify for. So it's going to make a big difference. So currently, as it stands, the way it works is if you have, let's say, 100,000 in student loans, the mortgage company, when they're pre-approving you, they would take 1% or 0.5% as your monthly payment and use that when they're calculating your debt to income ratio. Okay. So if you, for example, you have 100,000 in student loans, then the bank is going to use 1%, which is 1,000. So 1,000 a month. Just imagine like it's like having a $1,000 car payment, or 0.5%. So like a $500 car payment. It's a $500 obligation against your debt to income ratio. So that's how they were doing it if you were on deferment. So now, once student loans kick in, whatever your payment is that you're paying, or they're gonna assign to you, that's gonna go against your debt to income ratio. Now, another thing to note is you might be better off applying for an income-driven repayment plan, because typically those income-driven payments are lower than the 1% or 0.5%. So even if you have 100,000 student loans, but you're not making a ton of money, that monthly payment might only be $200. So 200 versus 500 or 1,000, it's going to help you qualify for more house. So that's that. So we're going to see how that affects the housing market, because we have hundreds of thousands of people who have student loans that are going to become due. We have to just see how we're going to cope with that. How is that going to affect the housing market? Is it going to take buyers out? That might help, because inventory is so low and it's so competitive. To remove some demand might help ease the pressure in the housing market and the prices. And another interesting story that I had to share is Canada. If you're a home owner in Canada, you might be hit with a 90-year mortgage. Yes, you might have a mortgage for 90 years. I thought this would be a funny rocket mortgage. Sent this meme, the satisfaction of paying off your mortgage, your 90-year mortgage. Oh, man. So yeah, basically, so what Canada's doing, so how did you get hit with a 90-year mortgage? So after reading this article, basically from what I understand is the way it works in Canada, or some mortgage companies, not all of them, the way it works is they want to keep your mortgage payment the same. So your mortgage payment, let's say, is $2,000 a month, but you have a variable interest rate, so adjustable, right? So interest rate adjustable. So if you're paying the same amount, but your interest rate is adjusting, that means some months you might be paying more towards principal and less towards interest. And then some months you're paying less towards interest. So, if rates go up and you're barely paying off your loan, it might take 60, 70, or even 90 years for homeowners who have variable rates but fixed payments to pay off their mortgage. So this is wild. Dave Ramsey would not approve of this at all. So let's just take a look at an example here. The problem is that keeping their monthly payments fixed means a borrower with a variable rate could pay as much as $1.6 million more in interest than a homeowner who's facing interest rate hikes head on. Basically, if you have a fixed rate, you're going to pay off your loan in 30 years. You'll save $1.6 million in interest. So Rate Hub's calculation shows that the total interest paid by a borrower with a 25-year mortgage costs $448,000 compared to $2.1 million on a 90-year mortgage. This is just crazy, guys. I do not suggest a 90-year mortgage whatsoever. Go with a fixed rate, 30 years, 15 years, pay that off. That'll be your, retirement and having no mortgage and living for free basically, or not having a very high housing expense is definitely the way to go. So a lot happening this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram, Roger Advisor, or update you guys daily trades. So follow me there if you want to know what's going on.